For our next audience question, what work have you done to examine your own white privilege and biases? How will your race play a role in the decisions you would make on the school board? First, we'll go with John, then Kelly, then Kirsten.
Well, I have the most white male privilege up here on the stage, so it's appropriate that I would go first, right? It's something I'm keenly aware of, and it's something that every day there's no way I can possibly understand the experiences of these, many of the people in this room. But I'll give you one example of an experience that I had that really pointed out my white privilege. I was visiting my dad in Texas. We went, and I was with my daughter, who's tall and blonde. We went for a walk, and we wanted to walk to the movies. It's hard to walk anywhere in Texas, by the way, but we're walking, and I'm following along on my phone. Okay, well, it looks like we go here, and all of a sudden we get to a place where the path doesn't quite match up with my phone, and I see there's a golf course in front of me. There's all these people out there playing golf, the type of people look like me out there playing golf, and the only way I could figure to get to the movie was to go all the way back around here. We would have missed the movie time, and I said to my daughter, we're going to walk across this golf course, and this is white privilege right here, because no one is going to stop us. And just like that, we walked right across, and we went, hey, how's it going? We're trespassing across the golf course. And I thought, that's a story that I can relate. I feel it every day, so I try to remember that story.
That is a great and humbling question, because it's actually something that I wrestle with every day. It's really hard. I had started working for the State Public Health Division in 2003, and that fall, in August of 2003, and that fall I was working with a group called EJAG out of Portland, which is the Environmental Justice Action Group, and we were talking about housing development and getting supports for people living with asthma in their homes. And they were doing a lot of work because I-5 went through and just split up that entire community, created massive traffic issues, and they were really experiencing some pretty significant health disparities. And here I come, walking in, super excited, and mind you, we're working for the asthma program and the tobacco prevention program. And so I started asking, well, how many people smoke in the home? And maybe that's part of what's causing it. And the woman who was running the organization at the time looked at me and she said, "You're a racist." That was a completely racist comment. And I wanted to start crying in the middle of that meeting because it was awful on so many levels. And we wrapped up that meeting. I heard what she was saying. It was definitely not what I was saying. And so reflected back on that, went back and spoke with my manager about what happened and had some dialogue. And it has only been maybe in the last couple of years that I understood what she meant when she said that. Because I was just such a, I want to be there to help, and maybe if we can just help people quit smoking, and that would be better, versus all of the institutional biases, the targeted efforts that the industry has in their community, what has been done in a destructive manner to that community that displaced them and put them in the situation that they were in. So it wasn't just this one little issue that I wanted to talk about. There was a whole bunch of stuff wrapped around that. I learn those things all the time in public health, because when we're trying to get to the health outcomes for all Oregonians, the way we're going to get there actually is by closing the disparity gap. And that has been a humbling experience for me. And I've had to Harvard has a great implicit bias thing. You should all take it, because you should know what your implicit biases are. First penalty.
These are exactly the hard conversations that we shouldn't be afraid to talk about. I did hear about some surveys, and I am excited to delve into the unknown of what it is like to be in somebody else's shoes. So I think that bringing everybody to the table, not being afraid to ask questions, and really not making any assumptions about anybody at the table is really where we need to start. And again, LO for Love and Respond to Racism is on the forefront of this, and I think that we're headed in the right direction.